These are my OCs from Wings of Fire. I'll use them in memes, animation songs, and some other things. I hope you like them. This is my OC Mixie, my version of a Morphwing. The fluffy stuff is small feathers, and the rest are big feathers. Don't ask how she got the feathers, I just thought it would be a cute little detail. Anywhoosies, she's an animus. She's a female and an extrovert. She's a descendant from Darkstalker, which is probably why nobody might trust her to use her magic on them, even though she didn't tell them, they somehow figured it out. Their coat, feather thing, whatever it is, can change their color depending on the shading and light the way it hits it. They can have multiple colors, but my OC has purple, blue, light blue, and dark blue. Basically like a crow's feather on how it changes colors depending on the lighting. Her backstory is as soon as her parents found out that she could use animus magic, they were terrified and abandoned her right then and there, never looking back, hoping that she would die by failing to fend for herself. They were too scared to do the job themselves and hoped that she wouldn't remember them, but she survived and is holding that as a grudge. Her personality is that she is difficult to get to know with at first, but she can be really nice when you get to meet her. She doesn't lie very much unless if she feels like she needs to or if somebody asks her to. She's usually the one who makes the plans or the rules, so she doesn't really agree a lot with some situations unless she likes it too, or if she made up the rules. She likes stuff going her way and is very stubborn and would need a lot of convincing to do something that she doesn't like. She has some manners that she doesn't usually use a lot unless if she's with her friends or people that she knows. She may have a huge ego, but she doesn't really have a lot of confidence in herself and puts herself down a lot. She's very rebellious and would never betray her friends, especially Delta, her first friend ever. She never wants to break that trust. She'd rather not share her emotions other than happiness or anger, if needed to. She thinks that the other emotions make her weak. She is very reckless and doesn't think things through. She is a very active and hyper dragon that is always trying to make jokes, and is super good and funny with them too. She's very happy with the life that she has with her friends, but she's still holding that grudge of what happened in her past, wanting her parents to get what's coming for them. She is very individualistic, or however you pronounce that, and doesn't really like getting help from others, but sometimes she will accept help. She is very cocky and is very competitive too. The species name will be Morphwing. They do not have one specific tribe. They are scattered throughout Pyria and some in Pantala. I don't know how to spell it or pronounce some of it. They are basically a hybrid from every tribe. Gives them the power to morph into whatever tribal dragon they want. They are able to have this ability once they are about 4 to 6 years old. Once they choose their color palette for that one tribal dragon, it stays that way, and they cannot change it. Comment in the comments section if you don't know what I mean by that, and I'll try to explain it. I didn't really have enough room to put it there, so I'm just going to say it. So basically, since you're a Morphwing, and if you were to have some royalty in your bloodline, like if you were to turn into a Seawing, you would have the royal pattern. And if you were born on like 3 moons, then for your Nightwing side, you would be able to read minds and see the future. I'm going to have her be born on 3 moons because, well, I just think it's cool, and if you're thinking it's too overpowered, just remember that she's an animus and she can just enchant herself to have mind-reading powers and seeing the future anyways, so yeah, there's that. And since Darkstalker exists being able to have that power, there isn't really a lot of room to complain, now is there? I'm just messing with you guys. And also because I can, she's also royalty, so there's that. But at this point, everybody could care less about her being royalty. And if you dare steal my OC or what her tribe is like or supposed to be and what they look like, I will hunt you down and find you. I swear to frickin' YouTube, please don't ban me. I just meant it as a joke. And I'm going to be making it as a video because, well, I can. Anywhoosies, next up is Delta Bobelta. My cousin made this OC since I kind of wanted her to have one to be a friend for my OC. I don't know why she wanted her to have so many scars, but that will make that harder for me for animating. Yay! But I do love the accessories she chose and the patterns that she had me draw out. Anyways, let's get on to what is about Delta Bobelta. She is a female and an extrovert. She's a very peaceful dragon that doesn't like to take action and likes to use words first to avoid conflict or anybody getting hurt. She was born from a blood red egg, which means she has fireproof scales. Yay! I have no idea why I'm doing this anymore, but it's really funny, so I'm just gonna keep on doing it for you guys. Anywhoosies, her backstory was that she was the youngest of her siblings. They kept on teasing her, they were doing mean stuff to her. I know this isn't normal sibling behavior for mudwings since they need each other to survive, but who cares? They were just real big jerks. Since she's a very nice dragon, she doesn't want to have revenge on them, but Mixie says otherwise because, well, they hurt her friend's feelings. Anywhoosies, one day, she decided to go away, looking for a new family to replace her siblings, and then she met Mixie. Oh yes, everybody loves friend relationships that are like family relationships, like they are just sisters and stuff. I don't know anymore. Anywhoosies, here's her personality. She's super kind and friendly, willing to do anything for a new family, her friend group. She is super faithful and trusts her new family, friend group, no matter what. And she always looks to the bright side of things. She's very modest and doesn't like to take all the credit. She likes to share it, and she's very polite and will try to do anything to keep others cheered up. She has a very artistic mind, and whenever she gets the chance, she'll create something whenever she's drawing or wants to make a sculpture out of mud or clay or anything like that. She's very cheerful and will stop at nothing to make others around her feel the same, and she's a very peaceful dragon that doesn't like to take action and likes to use words first. I think I already repeated that, and if I did, I am terribly sorry. She often agrees with just about anything. She isn't really the type to make plans and likes to just follow them. And yet again, she doesn't really like conflict, so there's that. Next up is Mesa the Craza. I still have no idea why I'm doing this, but it's funny, and I guess it's kind of catchy. I have no idea. Let's just continue with Mesa. For some reason, when I was showing this to my cousin to see if she approved of him, she said that he's basically a remake of Shadow the Hedgehog as a dragon. So just let me know in the comments if you think so too, and I'm going to read his description now. He is a male and an introvert. He has his own sand viper in his dome, and it's domesticated, and he drained all the venom out of it, so it's basically harmless. He doesn't really agree with anybody and tries to do everything his own way, and if anybody tries to convince him to do otherwise, he just ignores them and goes off to do whatever he wanted to do. He's also very protective of his necklace and won't tell anybody why. He never lets anybody touch it or go near it. No one knows why, but it must be related to his past. His backstory is Mesa doesn't really talk about his backstory other than telling anyone who asks that he was banished from the Sandring Kingdom. Nobody knows if it was from breaking a rule, a serious rule at that, or maybe if he has something that scares them. Probably the Sand Viper, if you ask me. Anyways, but it seems like he did get attacked and scorched by a few times when he was surviving on his own, like Delta. He refuses to be healed by Animus magic from Mixie. They seem to not trust it, or they just think those scars make them look more cool. And what I mean by they is no, not that he is a they, them. I mean they, as in they, for Delta and him. Just to clear the confusion for some of you out there. To be honest, nobody in this friend group trusts Mixie to use her Animus magic on them. Anywhoosies, here's his personality. He isn't very honest when will lie about almost everything. Unless if it's with Delta, then he'll make a few little lies here and there. But will always lie about his past, no matter who asks him. He is very self-critical about himself, always trying to find a way to make himself better, thinking that everything needs to be perfect. He is very independent and doesn't want help from anybody, and will try to keep everything a secret as possible. He's always seeming to think that everybody's trying to intimidate him or challenge him, which is probably the reason why he's so mean towards everybody. It also must relate to his past of past dragons, probably picking on him, to be honest. Most dragons think that he's more like a Skywing. Or probably just has some Skywing blood in him for how grumpy he is all the time. But trust me, he doesn't. He's just like that. But he does have a really traumatizing past, and his friends are trying to make everything better to make him forget about it. And no, this is not therapy, they're just being nice friends because that can happen. And the reason why I said that is because my cousin said that it's like a therapy lesson. Anywhoosies, let's continue with the personality. He's not really the best for making friends. He is always so touchy and emotionally cold towards almost anybody. The only one he's kind of nice to is Delta, is because he has a bit of a crush on her. She's most likely the one that he'll open up to, if he ever does. He's always looking out and watching for danger. Sometimes he snaps at dragons if he's angry enough. He isn't very rebellious since he's able to have a new family, his friends, and everything. He doesn't want to ruin it for the chance of being alone again, which makes sense. He doesn't really know what manners are, so his friend's trying to teach him. To be honest, he doesn't seem like he really cares. He's quick to judge everybody, trying to scan their movements and what they think and to see what they do next and have an advantage of protecting himself. And, hey! Ow! Gosh. Jerk. Hey, okay, fine, I'll stop. Chill out. It's so mean. Anyways, let's move on to Flair the bear, even though he's not a bear, but I'm just doing that because I can, and that's the first thing that came to mind. He is a male and an extrovert. Now, I'm going to do it differently this time and do the backstory and personality because the little side things will work out better and you would understand them better if I just start there. So, let's get on to the backstory. His life is just like a normal Skywings, except he used to be a guard, and some of us even speculating spy for Queen Ruby. Who knows why? Maybe after Darkstalker, well, Peacemaker now, Ruby doesn't really trust Mixie and thinks she might do something. But that's just a theory. Nobody really knows why yet, other than he's close to the Queen. He may have gotten those scars from battle training or fighting with one of his siblings. Now, we're moving on to the personality. He isn't as rebellious as some of the others, but he's definitely a bit more than Delta. He is very honest because he knows there's no point in lying because he doesn't really know how to do it correctly without being caught. He doesn't really have much manners, but he is the best out of all of us, trying to prove his point that he's better than us. To see what I mean by passive-aggressive, as you will see later on, because I obviously put that too soon in because I was basically trying to put this as Tetris for being able to fit as much things as I possibly can in there. Other than all the negative traits, he's pretty nice to be around and funny, if he trusts you enough, that is. I know I already said it, but since I've said it a second time, now you know I really mean it. Most of the time he's pretty nice at least, definitely more than Mesa. He isn't very positive but tries to prove that he's better, even though he snaps at everybody all the time like usual typical Skywings, even though it's surprising he trying to improve and be nicer. Or just trying to find another way on how to be passive-aggressive. He's pretty agreeable, although he wants the plans to go his way most of the time because he thinks he knows best. He seems fearless, although he's scared deep down. He thinks very highly of himself and thinks that he's the smartest and should be the leader of the friend group, even though he doesn't really do anything or get into fights unless if he feels like he needs to, which isn't very helpful now, is it, Flair? His emotional state is pretty unstable right now, even though he tries to hard it. To be honest, he probably has it the best out of all of us. That doesn't mean you shouldn't feel bad for him. He told us more stuff about his past, but he won't tell us about what happened with his eye. He seems friendly most of the time. He's actually very passive-aggressive, but most of the time he's just a really nice guy if he trusts you, that is. To be honest, he's kind of the same level of intelligence with Delta, except he's less creative and artistic-minded. He acts like he knows everything, even though he has no clue what's going on most of the time, which is pretty annoying. And I know we all have one of those friends that are like that, or possibly even siblings at this point. He may think highly of himself, but he helps Mesa carry around his snake, probably trying to make friends with him, or because he got threatened by Mesa. He has a backpack on his back to carry it in. He has fire scales and he asks Mixie to enchant him to be able to turn them on and off as he pleases, like a light switch. And to make the bag fireproof from his scales so that he won't burn Mesa's pet snake inside. Although he trusts Mixie to help him with his fire scales, he doesn't really trust her for being able to heal him, which makes Mixie very confused that nobody trusts her with that stuff. And next up is Eclipse Keeper the Teacher. I have no idea why I'm coming up with these names, and yes, I came up with this one right on the spot just now. She can read minds and see the future. And yes, I know, I'm one of those people that think that the little star on the forehead means read minds and the little teardrop scale means see the future, because, I don't know, it just looks cool and I think it's fitting. You can call her Eclipse for short, but other than that, let's get on with her description. She didn't have a very good past. Everybody always was teasing her and making fun of her for having mind reading and seeing the future abilities. Who knows why? They were probably just jealous. But she didn't know that, and it was pretty bad for hearing what they said, but what they said was worse in their heads. She is best friends / distant relatives with Moonwatcher, and Moonwatcher knows how she feels, so she tries to help out her buddy. That's how Eclipse Keeper was able to learn how to control her powers. Next up is her personality. She's super smart and always coming up with great ideas. She doesn't really want to share them, though, because she feels like she would be drawing attention to her, which she doesn't really like because she is very shy and scared, well, about basically anything. And having mind-reading powers doesn't exactly help for her being able to hear everybody think about her. Even though it may be nice sometimes, Mesa doesn't really help with how negative he is with everybody. She agrees with basically anything without question, not really wanting to get into trouble. She isn't really the rebelliousness kind of type. She listens to basically just about anything, and she is very patient, not wanting to get into a fight. She has one of the best manners in the group, trying to put up a good impression even though she is terrified most of the time with others looking at her. Mostly out of respect, but she doesn't really think that. Even though she can read their thoughts, she thinks they're lying. She isn't very positive, always thinking about the worst that could happen. She doesn't really feel confident in herself either, unlike the others. She is oversensitive, always takes everything seriously. Even if she ever hears anybody being negative about her, whether it's thoughts or talking, she gets really sad. She's super honest, but whenever somebody asks her something personal, she tries to make a lie. She isn't as good as lies as Mesa. She can be very friendly, but she doesn't really talk a lot, fearing people will use that information to their advantage or for blackmail. And that's it! I hope you liked them. It took me a while to make them, and I can't wait to do these in my video, and I hope you'll enjoy them as much as I do. In my free time, I'll be taking OC requests from anyone about any show, or book, or anything like that. Make sure they're detailed so I can do them better. You can comment on this video or in the community section to get what you requested. And make sure to tell me their personality so I can do their pose based off of it. I can also draw and do wallpapers for you if you like my art style. Just tell me the length and width of your device so I can draw it out. And also tell me what to draw, whether if it's your OC or background. I hope you enjoyed this video and I can't wait to do more of my videos. Have a good day and goodbye! Please like and subscribe and comment in the comment section. And have a nice day!